Harley-Davidson has been making waves for years, but their new 2026 Sprint isn't just another bike, it's a shot across the bow aimed at their most loyal customers. This lightweight, beginner-focused bike is everything a classic Harley is not, and it's about to spark one of the biggest debates we've ever seen in the rider community. What we're all witnessing is a slow-motion identity crisis. For over a century, the name Harley-Davidson meant something. It meant heavy American iron. It meant the soul-shaking rumble of a V-twin. It was a culture, a brotherhood, a way of life built around a certain kind of machine. It was never about being the fastest, the most practical, or the most high-tech. It was about a feeling, a presence. When you bought a Harley, you weren't just buying a motorcycle, you were buying into a legacy. You were becoming part of something. But the winds of desperation are blowing hard through Milwaukee. You can almost picture the executives staring at spreadsheets, at falling sales numbers, at a customer base that's getting older, and they're starting to panic. Their solution? To fundamentally change what a Harley-Davidson is. They seem to believe the company's future isn't with the grizzled vets who built the brand, but with a new generation of riders who have zero connection to its past. And their opening shot in this battle for the company's soul is the 2026 Sprint, a motorcycle that, in its very design, feels like a slap in the face to everyone who has ever loved a real Harley. Today, we're not looking at specs. We're going to break down what this bike represents. We're going to explore the deep divide it's creating between the old guard and this new direction. And we're going to ask the one question on every loyal rider's mind: is Harley-Davidson selling its soul just to stay in business? But before we dive in, I want to hear from you. What do you think of Harley's bold move with the Sprint? Is this the start of a new era or the beginning of the end? Drop your first gut reaction in the comments right now. And if you're as passionate about keeping the soul of riding alive as we are, make sure you hit subscribe and join this community of riders who aren't afraid to speak their mind. All right, let's dig into what makes the Sprint such a controversial machine. The Trojan horse, the 2026 Sprint. So, what exactly is this bike that's causing such an uproar? It's called the Sprint, a name they dug up from Harley's history. And trust me, we'll get to why that name choice is a story in itself. Officially on the books for a 2026 release, the Sprint is Harley's biggest and boldest play for the entry-level market yet. The company isn't being shy about it. This bike is made to get new and younger riders in the door. Let's get into what we know. The big headline is the price. Harley-Davidson is shooting for a price tag under $6,000. Let that sink in. The cheapest bike in their current lineup, the Nightster, starts at almost $10,000. So right away, they're not just lowering the price of admission, they're blowing the doors off. This is a total repositioning of the brand, planting a flag in territory dominated by Honda, Kawasaki, and Royal Enfield. To hit a number that low, you have to make sacrifices, and those sacrifices are what truly define the Sprint. It's expected to be lightweight and compact, built to be easy to handle and not intimidate a new rider who'd be terrified of a 700-pound street glide. It'll have a modern urban look with ergonomics for zipping around town, not cruising cross-country. Think less Born to be Wild and more Born to Grab a Latte. And then there's the engine. While the final specs are still top secret, all signs point to a small displacement liquid-cooled engine, most likely a parallel twin. This is a world away from the iconic air-cooled 45-degree V-twin that, for most people, is the heart of a Harley. The bikes they recently launched in Asia, the X350 and X500, give us a pretty clear roadmap of this thinking. They use liquid-cooled parallel twin engines and are built with a Chinese partner to keep costs low. It's a safe bet the Sprint will follow a similar playbook, possibly being built in an overseas plant like their factory in Thailand, to make that sub-$6,000 price profitable. Harley's CEO Jochen Zeitz has been very clear that unlike past flops like the Street 500 and Street 750, the Sprint is engineered from day one to make money. This isn't some experiment. It's a cold, hard business decision. They are making a product that is, by every single metric, the polar opposite of their heritage. It's affordable, it's lightweight, it's very likely foreign-made in large part, and it's technologically modern. It's a motorcycle built to be an appliance, a stepping stone. And that, right there, is the problem. It's a machine built on compromise, designed to be a little bit of everything to everyone, and in the end, representing nothing that made Harley-Davidson an icon. It's a betrayal of heritage. For over a century, a Harley-Davidson was an unapologetic statement. It was big, loud, heavy, and made in America. It was a commitment. You didn't just wander onto a lot and casually buy a Harley. You invested in it. You poured your time, your money, and a part of yourself into that machine. The whole culture of customization is the core of the Harley experience. Your bike was your canvas. You'd spend years upgrading the engine, swapping the bars, finding the perfect seat, and polishing chrome until that bike was an extension of you. Now, look at the Sprint, a $6,000 mass-produced beginner bike. Is that a machine someone builds a lifelong bond with, or is it a disposable good? Harley says the plan is to build loyalty early, hoping these new riders will graduate to bigger, pricier models. But here's where that strategy completely falls apart. It totally misunderstands what brand loyalty is. It's built on a shared identity and a promise you can count on. For generations, Harley's promise was authentic, heavyweight, American freedom. The Sprint's promise, accessible, easy, and cheap transportation. By creating this starter Harley, they're setting up a two-tiered system. You've got the real Harleys, and then you've got the Sprint. This just waters down the brand for everybody. It tells the world that the core principles that defined Harley for 120 years are now up for negotiation. That legendary badge on the tank starts to feel less like a mark of heritage and more like a marketing sticker. And this isn't the first time Harley has tried this, which makes it even worse. Do you remember the AMF years when quality went down the drain and the brand almost died? But even more recent screw-ups haunt this new bike. Remember the Street 500 and Street 750? Launched in 2014, they were the same idea. Affordable entry-level bikes to bring in new people. They had a new liquid-cooled Revolution X engine and were partly built in India to cut costs. And the reaction? A total thud. The loyal riders saw them as cheap, underpowered plastic bikes that weren't real Harleys. The new riders they were trying to attract often found them underwhelming and quickly moved on. Not to a bigger Harley, but to a bike from another brand that gave them more bang for their buck. The Street Series was quietly killed off, a multi-million-dollar failure that only managed to annoy its core customers. Now, with the Sprint, it feels like we're just watching a rerun. The CEO swears they've learned their lesson, and this time, it'll be profitable. But the fundamental mistake is still there. They're chasing a customer who isn't asking for a cheap Harley. They're chasing a customer who, if they want a small, reliable commuter, has dozens of amazing options from Japanese and European companies who have perfected these bikes over decades. Harley-Davidson cannot win a race to the bottom. Their power was always in being a premium, aspirational brand. By trying to be everything to everyone, they risk becoming nothing to anyone. Look, I know this is a heavy topic, and it gets a lot of us fired up. This channel is about more than just bike specs. It's about the culture and where riding is headed. If you're sitting there nodding along, if you feel that same knot in your stomach about the motor company's new direction, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're building a community here of riders who aren't afraid to call it like they see it. Your support is what keeps these conversations alive. Now, let's get back to it, because there's a history lesson here Harley seems dead set on ignoring. It's deja vu all over again. And what makes this whole thing even more infuriating, a real slap in the face, is the name they chose. To the suits in Milwaukee, Sprint is probably just a cool word they found in the archives, but for anyone who actually knows their Harley history, that name comes with some serious, troubled baggage. It's the name of a bike from one of the most controversial times in the company's past, the Ermachi era. Back in the 1960s, Harley was getting swamped by small, cheap bikes from Japan and Europe. Sound familiar? To compete, instead of building their own small bike, they bought half of an Italian company called Ermachi. The result was a line of small single-cylinder bikes that were just rebadged Ermachis, sold in Harley dealerships with Harley-Davidson on the tank. The most famous one was the Harley-Davidson Sprint. These bikes were the exact opposite of a traditional Harley. They were small, light, and had a horizontal single-cylinder engine, the Spaghetti Hoglet. And while they had some racing success, the public reaction was lukewarm at best. The faithful saw them as foreign fakes, a watering down of the pure American brand. They were a band-aid for a market problem, a compromise that did nothing to build up the Harley identity. The whole venture eventually collapsed, and the great lightweight experiment was over. So, for Harley-Davidson to resurrect the name Sprint. Now, in 2026, for another small, foreign-influenced beginner bike is either a case of shocking ignorance or they're just trying to provoke people. They are literally repeating the same playbook from 60 years ago and hoping for a different outcome. This isn't just about a name, it's about a pattern. It shows a company that, when challenged, doesn't lean into its strengths but tries to copy its competition. It's a defensive move. not the confident, market-defining attitude that built the legend in the first place. The first Sprint was Harley admitting they couldn't beat the Japanese at their own game. This new Sprint is the same admission, just served up for a new generation. And it forces you to ask, what is the soul of a Harley-Davidson? Is it just a logo you can slap on any engine from anywhere in the world? Or is it something real? For most of us, that soul lives in the 45-degree V-twin. It's in the idol that you can identify with your eyes closed. It's in the low-end torque that feels like a giant hand pushing you forward. It's in the solid, unshakable feel of American steel. The new Sprint will have none of that. It'll likely have a high-revving parallel twin that sounds more like its Japanese rivals than a classic hog. It'll be built for zippy handling, not the planted, commanding feel of a cruiser. It will be, for all intents and purposes, a generic Japanese-style motorcycle wearing a Harley-Davidson costume. And for the riders who have spent their lives and their money defending the unique character of their bikes, that feels like the ultimate betrayal. So, is this a desperate gamble or a necessary evil? Now, let's play devil's advocate for a minute. Let's try to see this from the boardroom. From their perspective, they see a company at a crossroads. Their core customer base, the baby boomers who made the brand a powerhouse, is aging out of riding. Younger generations aren't buying big, expensive bikes in the same numbers, often turned off by Harley's prices and heavyweight reputation. And globally, sales have been hurting, especially here in North America. From a pure business school point of view, doing nothing is a death sentence. The company has to evolve to survive. The logic for the Sprint, then, is pretty simple. Get them in the door cheap. The hope is that a good time on a $6,000 Sprint eventually leads to a $10,000 Nightster, and then maybe a $30,000 Road Glide. It's a long-game investment in building the next generation of Harley riders. They'd argue this is a necessary evil, that the profits from high-volume cheap bikes like the Sprint will pay for the R&D on the big V-twins the traditionalists love. They'd say that without new blood, the whole ecosystem, the dealerships, the culture, the big bikes will just shrivel up and die. But that entire argument hinges on one huge, shaky assumption, that it will actually work. Will younger riders who grew up with a million choices feel any loyalty to Harley just because their first bike had a bar and shield on it? Or will they see the Sprint for what it is, an entry-level motorcycle, and when it's time to upgrade, just buy the best bike for their money, no matter the brand? They're just as likely to jump to a Yamaha, a Triumph, or a Ducati. The idea that you can buy loyalty with a cheap product is a massively dangerous gamble. And what's the cost of this gamble? The risk is huge. For every new rider they might hook, they risk pushing away a loyal, high-spending customer who feels like the brand has left them behind. These are the people buying the high-margin bikes, the expensive accessories, and the t-shirts. They're the brand ambassadors who built the culture one bike night at a time. Trading them for a fickle, price-shopping audience could be financial suicide. At its heart, this is a crisis of confidence. Harley-Davidson seems to have lost faith in its own product. Instead of finding new ways to make their iconic cruisers more appealing or a better value, they're just building something else entirely. Imagine if Porsche, to compete with hot hatches, decided to build a cheap, front-wheel drive four-cylinder and slap a Porsche crest on it. It might sell, but it would destroy the prestige they spent decades building. That's what's happening here. They're trading identity for volume. They're swapping soul for sales. The road not taken was to innovate within their own tradition, to build a new Sportster that was lighter and more affordable, but was still, without a doubt, a Harley, to celebrate their heritage instead of running from it. But they chose the other path. They chose to build a copy of their competition, and in doing so, they risk becoming a cheap copy of themselves. So here we are, standing at a fork in the road. On one path is the Harley-Davidson of legend, a symbol of rebellion, American craft, and the soul-stirring thunder of a V-twin. On the other path is the Harley-Davidson of the future, as the current leadership sees it, a global lifestyle brand, selling everything from e-bikes to cheap foreign-made commuter bikes like the 2026 Sprint. This motorcycle is so much more than a new model. It's a symbol of the war going on for the company's soul. It represents a hard turn away from the values that built the brand, all for a desperate bet on a future that's anything but guaranteed. They're betting the farm that they can bring in a new crowd without losing the one that's kept them in business for over 120 years. They are telling their most loyal riders that everything they valued, the weight, the sound, the heritage, the American pride, is now less important than chasing a younger, and they hope, more profitable customer. The Sprint doesn't feel like an addition to the family. It feels like a replacement. a cheaper, easier, more generic model designed to make the old one obsolete. This is going to anger a lot of Harley loyalists, and it should. It's a move born of fear, not confidence. It's the watering down of a powerful brand in a frantic chase for market share. While some will call it necessary evolution, for many, it's going to feel like the end of an era, the moment Harley-Davidson stopped being Harley-Davidson. But that's my take. Now I need to hear from you. Is Harley selling its soul, or is this a smart move to save the company? Is the 2026 Sprint a stroke of genius or the final betrayal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's really get into it. And if you want to be part of a community that isn't afraid to call it like it is, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Until next time, ride safe and ride free.